show is sponsored in part by Sebastian Productions, where we specialize in modeling, runway coaching, personal styling, event production, and consulting. For more information, visit www.sebastianmodeling.com.
Hey. It is Monday night, November 23rd. This month is almost over with. The year is almost over with. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to my sister, Why Do You Hate Me So Much? I am your host, the rose that grew from the concrete, Shabella. And I have with me tonight Miss Willette Hurst, who is an author and an international speaker. International motivational speaker. She is the author of 3 books. The title of those books are How to Stay on the Journey, Regardless of the Rage, Do It Now, Tomorrow is Not Promised, and Don't Tell Your Vision for Another Man's Baby. Now, that's the book that's really standing out to me. Don't tell your vision for another man's baby. But we're going to get back to that. How are you doing tonight, Willette?
I'm fantabulous. And yourself?
I'm good. I am so glad to have you on the show tonight. I really am. I guess we not really running late, but you know how you just have one of those days where everything could go wrong, try to go wrong. And that's just one of those days today. And also I wasn't, I'm not really feeling too well, but the devil is a lie. I'm going to push through this show on tonight and interview my friend, longtime friend. We met on social media years ago. And it's just amazing the accomplishment between the both of us since we first met. I was telling my husband, either it was last night or this morning, I was like, I met her through a group when I first started doing plus size modeling called the BBW Click. He talking about, oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that before. I was like, well, I'm telling you again. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself, Willette, like a little bit of your background and just where you from and just a little bit about yourself, personal, but not too much.
Yeah, okay. And when you said that the devil was busy with you today, that means that we're going to really reach a lot of people today. That means that with you and I, our testimonies together is just powerful.
Right. So, I definitely agree with you on that.
Huh?
I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, so I'm just excited about what's going on. I was born in Santa Monica, California. I was raised in West Hollywood, California. And so I've been on a journey of figuring out who I am. I was a broken woman. I ended up was disabled from 2012 and I lost everything. I was evicted. I didn't even have the S in self-esteem. I was I didn't have, I was in a domestic violence marriage for 20 years. I have been molested. I have been beat down. You name it. I have been through it.
Wow.
But yeah, you already know.
I know some of your testimony and you know some of mine. So tonight we're gonna have a really good time, a high time. Okay, so I guess where we can start is like about the time frame when you wrote your first book. Which one of these was your first book? How to Stay on the Journey? Okay, well tell us a little bit about how to stay on the journey regardless of the rage.
How to stay on the journey, like all the stuff that I had told you that I had been through, because all that stuff had happened for me. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me because God uses everything that we've been through. Our screaming, our crying, the rejection, everything is used for his purpose. So the first book is, because remember I said I didn't have the S in self-esteem. I had to, somebody would ask me something. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can you do that? Because I didn't know my worth. Of course, I rolled out the red carpet so they can use me. People can see what's in you when you can't see what's in you.
That's true.
And so I allow people all the time to use me. Even in church and ministry, I allow people to pimp my anointing. And so that first book was God telling me that each one of us have a baby that we got to birth out to the world. And it was God
Right.
telling me to stop fostering other people's kids and give birth to my baby. So
Right.
my baby was a little premature baby that you see right there, how to stay on the journey regardless of the age. That was
Mm-hmm.
me, not fostering everybody else's kids. That was me doing the work to give birth to what I was supposed to give out to the world.
Right. Okay. That's powerful. And so the next book that came along was Do It Now, Tomorrow Is Not Promised, which is something that
Actually,
it took
actually, that's
I
the
had to
third
really learn on that, huh?
Actually, that's the last one.
Okay, well, don't tell your vision for another man's baby. So let's get into it. Because I want to know what that one is about.
Look,
I kept reading the title over and over.
look, you know that's your flavor, right? It's don't kill your vision for another man's baby. And everybody think it's a physical baby, but it's not a physical baby. It's each person has when we're birthed, God gives us where He created us for a reason. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason is He impregnated you for a reason. When He impregnates you with a dream, vision, or idea, it's your job to give birth to that dream, vision, or idea. But we
Right.
too busy because of all the stuff that we happen in life. We get sheltered, or we get poured like dirt poured on us, so we don't even do what He wants us to do because we're fearful. We're worried about what other people say, mom, pop, sister, brother, everybody, what they're gonna say about whatever God has downloaded to us. How
Right.
you feel your vision about another man's baby was stop fostering everybody else's kids. Stop fostering when you work at other people's jobs. Stop fostering when somebody say, "Hey, come over here and work for me," because you're not doing what He told you to do. So this
Right.
time, when it said "Don't kill your vision for another man's baby," I actually got on that birthing table and didn't jump off this time and push that baby out.
All right now. Don't
That
start. Don't
Look,
start,
look,
Sister
that
Hurst.
part right there.
Don't start, Sister Hurst. Don't start. Okay. And that, I mean, that is for real. Don't kill your vision for another man's baby. I know that there has been plenty of times when, and not just me, just other women that can vouch on how we tend to put ourselves on the back
Yeah.
burner for the men in our lives. I felt like I did that for like 3 relationships. And then definitely this last one, I was like, all that time and energy and money that I put into those men in those relationships, I'm gonna reflect that back on me. And that was the best thing I could have done for myself. So that book, I mean, if the women that are out there listening tonight, that would be a really, really good book because you need to learn to be a little selfish with yourself sometimes because we get lost in these relationships. We really do. As
And that
women, we get lost in.
And that's exactly what happened. I got lost in taking care of my ex-husband, taking care of my kids, taking care of everybody else. Then when all those people gone and they get a life, then what you got left? Then you anorexic because you gave out
Right, right.
everything. You don't have nothing left. And like you said, as women, we're nurturers. So that's how
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to do. But you can't keep pouring out and nobody pouring into you because then you become overdrawn.
Right,
But
right. You're right.
surround yourself. Like
Huh?
when I heard you got married and I watched your journey from the model and all that stuff and see you walking your true authentic self, and I know
Yes.
partially of your testimony, baby, I was celebrating you.
All right now. I
I
was
was
too.
celebrating you because I watched you grow into that woman that God has called
Yes,
you to be.
you did.
I watched you listen. I was so proud of you when you said, "Me and my husband pray every morning."
Yes.
I watched that grow up. And most women, another problem that we have, we don't celebrate each other. We put our foot on each other's neck and we worried about everybody else, but I celebrate each person because
Yes.
what's for you is for you. What's for me is for me. If it's for
Exactly.
me,
Say that.
you can't take it from me if it's for me.
Right. And you can't. You
Yeah,
can't. Because what's meant to be for me is for me, and what's meant to be for you is for you. And you can't take something that, like, if God gives me a vision or God gives you a vision, and the next person try to come along and steal that vision, that creative thought or thinking, and they won't be as successful at it as you are, because when He gives you that vision, He also gives you the creativity and the resources and everything to execute it the right way. And
The
so some people think
provision.
that they can jump, yes, provision. So some
Mhm.
people think that they can jump right into things, but what I do might not be for you to do. And what
But
you do might not be for the next woman to do.
this is where I'm really gonna mess you up on this. All the stuff that you went through, it prepared you for that. That
Yeah.
gave you your flavor. Had you not been
Mhm.
through that stuff you've been through, you wouldn't be that saucy chick that's on the other line right now.
Oh, okay.
That part.
Already.
You wouldn't have all that flavor because
No.
you went through and he brought you through. You know why he brought you through all of that? Because he knew he could trust you with that.
Yes.
He knew
All
that
right
just
now.
like when you play football, when you down to the last wire, when you you need somebody to get that score done, right? They ain't gonna give it to the
Right.
person that's gonna fumble the ball. They're gonna give it to the person that's gonna get that touchdown. God
Mm-hmm.
knew that you were able to do what he needed you to do because your baby that he impregnated you with, just like you said, somebody will try to copycat it, whatever. But that baby the reason why you have to give birth to that child, because it has to have your DNA, it has to have your fingerprints, it has to look like you because of all the stuff that he brought you through.
Right. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. All right now. So I saw a couple of comments come up where they want to know where can they purchase the book "Don't Kill Your Vision for Another Man's Baby."
They can actually purchase it on Amazon.
Okay. Okay. On Amazon, "Don't Kill Your Vision for Another Man's." Ooh, girl,
And you
I
know
could
the
talk a lot on there, but this ain't about me tonight. This
and you
ain't
know
about
what
me on tonight.
and
But yes.
you know
Okay,
the
so yeah, go ahead.
the cold part about it is that you know how most people get the books and they want to give you inspiration, this and water down this and that. Just like how I say you have your own flavor, God gave me my own flavor where I don't have any chaser, so I don't have about drinks and stuff. I don't have the chaser before like how when
I
you
get what you saying though.
Long Island iced tea, they creep up on you. You know
Yes.
how they creep up on you, be like, dang, how I just got knocked out like that, right?
Yeah.
That's the same way that book is, but you don't have the soft part. You have the part that's just like in your face, like it tells you about forgiveness. It tells
Mm-hmm.
you about dealing with the person in the mirror. It tells you like why we get stuck and where we need to go when we're supposed to
Right.
go somewhere else. Because if you don't forgive somebody, you stay stuck in whenever
You
that
stay
time
stuck. You do. You do. That's the truth. Okay, well, we're gonna cut off right there and take a break real quick. And you guys tune in. This is just the beginning of it. It's just the appetizer. We about to get into the full course meal. So come back. We're about to go to a commercial break, and we'll see you when we get back.
Are you tired of bad hair days, dry, damaged hair, and lackluster curls? We know the struggle is real. Herb's Nectar Hair Care is here to bring life back to your hair and take you from struggle to shine. Offering organic, cruelty-free hair care options, we focus on giving you salon quality with multi-use products to save time, money, and shelf space. Visit our website today at www.earthsnectar.com for thicker, stronger, healthier hair. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio at checkout.
Okay. So we are back. Thank you for tuning in. And if you guys are just now joining us, this is my sister. Why do you hate me so much? I am your host, the rose that grew from the concrete, Sharbella, with my guest tonight, Willette Hurst, author and international motivational speaker. Well, we had got into that. We talked about "Don't Kill Your Vision for Another Man's Baby." So let's talk about your last book.
The last book is
Do it now.
Do It
Tomorrow's not
Now,
coming.
Tomorrow's Not Promised, and that actually just came out like a couple of months ago, and it was actually based off of where we're at right now in the middle of the pandemic.
Okay.
Because being in the middle of pandemic is like people have worked their whole life and they can't depend on anything right now. In the middle of the pandemic, they can't depend on their jobs. They can't depend on the government. They can't depend on, you had to reevaluate yourself. 2020 has been perfect vision to look at your life. And most people have seen it as a stop sign in their life. Like, where do I go from here? but actually it's actually been where we've been slowed down. So it's actually been a speed bump and not a stop sign.
Right.
And so that's
Okay.
what the book is, because tomorrow's not promised.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, we used to be able to work and then retire, and you had everything planned out. If you went to college, it happened like this. It's not like that anymore. So whatever
It's
you have to give birth to, you have to give birth to it now, because it's not promised tomorrow. The
right.
wealthiest property in the world, Mons Monroe says, is the graveyard, because people take their dreams, vision, ideas with them. So
Yeah.
tomorrow is not promised, and that's what the book is about.
And that is true. Tomorrow's not promised. Um, and just to I never really knew about, I know that procrastination is not good. Um, to be content in a certain place for a long period of time is not good. Um, and that book that I read, Battlefield of the Mind, gave me more in depth about how important it is to do it. Like, why put, the old saying is, why put off tomorrow what you can do today?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not promised tomorrow. And
Mm-mm.
if you get, yeah, so it's like you have to know that you got to, when things are given to you, or you have an idea, or just to take care of a certain type of business, it's best to just go ahead and do it, because the book Battlefield of the Mind talks about how all those are spirits, or
Mm-hmm.
bad spirits, the procrastination, the laziness, complacent, things like that. So that's another good book too. So you guys can find her books on Amazon. Again, the titles of her books is How to Stay on the Journey Regardless of the Rage, Don't Kill Your Vision for Another Man's Baby, Do It Now, Tomorrow Is Not Promised. And all of these are books by Willette Hurst, and you can find them on Amazon. So Willette, why don't you tell us a little bit about what was your drive and your motivation to become an author?
I was tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted to share all the journey that I have went through. I wanted to be able to
Mhm.
share my testimony so others can. I wanted to be real and authentic so others can be healed. A lot of
Right,
times people want, when you go through dramatic stuff, people want to hold on to it because they think they're going to get judged. But the reason why he brought you through it, because you're going to minister to somebody. You're going to speak to somebody. What he brought you through, you can reach that person that somebody else couldn't reach. Just like your audience is one type of person, your audience is somebody over here. My audience is over here, because that's what I've been delivered from. That's where I've been brought through, right?
right,
Because like if I had not been through something that you've been through, and this person comes in contact with me, I try to lift them up or motivate them or empower them, and all they hear is wah wah wah, because they like, she can't relate to me. That's why he
right.
gives each one of us a certain audience that we're supposed to meet. We're
That's
supposed
true.
to empower, not even motivate, but empower them to make decisions for their life.
Okay. Yeah, that's because you got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Okay, now. Yeah, I guess a lot of us are like within our own rights an author, especially if you're that type of person that you write down things a lot. You
Hmm.
write when you in an emotional state, you write. Um, when things come to your mind, you write. You're constantly, when you're reading something and you're getting something out of it, and you'll write because you want to come back to it, because that's why, yeah, that right there. Some people just get published, but then some people like me that's got paper everywhere because I'm constantly writing stuff. I'm constantly writing things down. I did started writing a book before, and it's still out. It's still it's
It's not
road.
too
It's just
late.
that, yeah, it's not
It's
too
not
late.
too
So I'm
late.
just saying, I thought I was getting ready to get it published. It was called The Burn of My Flesh. I thought I was getting ready to get it published, but not right now. God has a season for everything. But if someone comes to you and they want to be an author, what would you tell them? What kind of encouragement or inspiration you would give them?
One, I want to ask them, what's their because? What's there because why do you want to be an author? Do you want to be an author just to say you want to be an author? Or do you want to be an author because you want to impact people?
Got a
Do you
story to
have a
tell. Yeah.
story? Because even though you got a lot of papers, like if you came to me, I'm going to use you as an example. If you came to me, and a lot of times you may say, maybe I don't need to write a book or this and that. Because I know a little bit of your story, I know your story would unlock somebody else's prison.
Hmm. Amen.
So I know I would say, how would if somebody heard your story, wouldn't you think that person would come out that door, out that cell block?
Right. Right. That's true.
Because what they would hear is in that story, because I know you, what they'll hear in your story is not no fluff in that story. It's
No.
not, and you wouldn't be writing the story just to be doing something. You would be writing the story because you have a story to tell. And your story will open somebody's prison. Your story, the person will read your story and say, if she can make it through, then I can make it through. If he
Right.
did it for her, he's no respecter of person. He can do it for me.
Right.
And
And
they,
that's
because
true.
a lot of times, because you're sharing your story, because you're being transparent, you're being real so other people can heal. At least if they're in that situation that he delivered you from, at least if they're reading it, they're like, they're not going to be afraid to tell somebody. Because when you're in the picture, when you're in the frame, you can't see the picture. So when
Hmm.
you're in it, when I was in the domestic violence for 20 years, I don't want to share with how my mind was thinking. Like, oh, if I would act a certain way, maybe he wouldn't have did what he did. Or maybe I need to step up and do different. Then if you had somebody, if they had a book or something, they say, oh wow, that's some mental issues, or that's some self-esteem issues that I'm dealing with. Oh, so I can get past that. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It does. It makes sense. It really does. Okay, so with that being, okay, so when when did you write your first book? Because I know that you're an international speaker. So, were you speaking before you started writing your
Yeah,
books?
I actually, yes, yeah. I did a
Okay.
lot of speaking. I've been in ministry for a long time. So while I was going through eviction, going through bankruptcy, while I was going through on one end, I was ministering and speaking and everything else on the other end, because stuff, it grows up. Blessings go up and trials and tribulations go up hand in hand.
Right.
They're twins. And so, yeah, I was speaking before I decided to finally write the book. I was also let being the biggest cheerleader for everybody else.
Yeah, that was me.
So
So yeah.
the book was, that first book is a very small book, but it was a book that freed me. It was a book that was my little baby. Only weighed like 2 pounds. You may say 2 pounds because she only 24 pages. About
Okay.
2 pounds. But when I tell you, when that book was finished, I felt the chains fall off of me being a follower. I was so many followers that I would lay out the red carpet for people to use me because I didn't know who I was or what I carried.
That
So the
part.
thing of what I learned is that when you treat people, I know you heard this many a times, you treat people how to treat you.
Yeah.
Because we roll out the
Yeah,
red carpet because
we
we
do.
act like their life is better than us. No, baby, that ain't how it goes. So when you
Hmm.
find yourself in that situation, when you find yourself when that deadbeat Bob, when you know he shouldn't even be able to look at you, no longer be with you. When you
Right.
find yourself in that situation, you take them back to school and teach them how to treat
You
you,
have to.
because you
You
got
have
the
to.
power. Because they don't have
Yes.
the power. We have the power to
Right.
teach them back. I was
Hmm.
gone, and I had to go away from everything I knew. I was in the South for 3 years. Mind
Hmm.
you, I'm from Cali. I had no clue about the South whatsoever. Ain't never made greens a day in my life. And I'm out in the South, and you talking about girl, baby. But when I went on that journey, and I said I came back to California after 3 years, I said Willette was coming back, right? I was coming back home. That wasn't true because I did the work when I was gone. So the
Right.
same Willette that left wasn't the same Willette that came back.
No, sir.
I said the Willette that you knew, she's dead. She had a service. It was beautiful. You should have attended.
Right. I think I remember you posting something like that before. I think I do.
If you've been going the wrong way, like you going down the street, right? You trying to get somewhere. You going down the street and you on the GPS, you like, man, what the heck? I'm going the wrong way.
Yep.
You gonna keep going the wrong way? Or you gonna make that U-turn?
You're gonna have to make that U-turn.
That's what we have to do in life. When we find out we with
You
that
have to.
wrong mate, when we find out we on that wrong career, when we
Mm-hmm.
find out that we getting pimped by our anointing because everybody else is using our anointing for the stuff that we went through, you
Mm-hmm.
got to make that U-turn. And
Okay.
that's the same thing in life. I don't care where you at in life, how old you are, wherever the situation is, it's never too late to make that U-turn.
That is
You
true.
may get a ticket if you do it in the wrong street, but take that hit for your life.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna stop right there and take another break. But when we come back, we're about to really pick the meat off the bone. We're gonna get into my sister, the meaning of it for those who might be watching for the first time tonight, to have an explanation of what the title of the show is about. And we're about to dig deep into us as women, as Black women, as sisters, and why we have such a hard time throughout generation, and generation of not being able to love one another, to support one another, to be there for one another. And I guess you can also call that a generational curse, but we'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned.
Hey, it's your girl Lisa Dene, and I want to tell you about my new book of the month, When the Pieces Begin to Fit by Nikki L. Jones. Have you ever felt discouraged, depressed, struggling to find your purpose? This book will help you make sense of it all and inspire you to keep moving forward. Nikki uses her own personal journey to illustrate that you are more than your situation and you can overcome. Get your copy of When the Pieces Begin to Fit by Nikki L. Jones, available now on Amazon. Be sure to leave a review and tell her Stunner Radio sent you.
Okay. Thank you guys for tuning back in with us. This is my sister. Why do you hate me so much? I am your host, the rose that grew from the concrete, Shabella. My guest on with me tonight is Willette Hurst, author and international motivational speaker and life coach. And we are really getting into it tonight. You know, I've been knowing Willette for a long time. We started, I think, yeah, when I started out on my journey back, I think it was 2015, 2016. It's been a while. And I met her, and it's just amazing. Like we continue to stay in touch. We stayed Facebook, social media, um, family, because I'm not gonna say friend, I'm gonna say family, because she has definitely been a huge supporter of me through all of these years. Even when we met, you know, I was kind of having some stumbling blocks and some of these issues with some of the other women that was in the group that we were in. So which I found not only just within these last 5 years of plus size modeling and being a radio personality and you know, being a part of a record label and all that stuff. Even growing up, I found myself being bullied by family, women in my family, women growing up with in school and stuff, and never really quite and understood why us as Black women hated each other so much. So one, you know, it just kind of came to me one day, like, I want to do a show. My sister, why do you hate me so much? Because 9 times out of 10, you probably don't even really know me. And I tell people all the time that just because you grew up with me, don't mean you know me. Just because you might have been my neighbor, you don't know me. You went to school with me, you don't know me. You have not seen me in over 10 years. You don't know me. You know of me, but you don't know me, because people change, especially throughout the years. People change, whether it be bad or good. People change. But as the older I got, and I was talking about this on last Saturday, the older I got, I didn't want to live have with that demeanor of, I don't fool with Black women. I don't have nothing to do with Black women. I ain't never been able to get along with them. I always hang out with my brothers and my homeboys, and I don't do, you know, I just can't trust women like that. I just don't. And the older I older that I'm getting, I realize I do I don't hate black women, and I do want to be able to form relationships with other black women, because we are some powerful beings. And I say it over and over. They say it's hard for a black man in this world, but it's just as hard for a black woman in this world, especially when you're a black woman trying to just be strong, live by your strength, and you trying to boss up and be an entrepreneur and do things on your own because you don't want to depend on anyone else, especially a man, because a lot of times when a woman depends on a man, it comes with a price. And so that's why I wanted to, so my sister's basically, like I said, an irony, the opposite of, and using that word hate, let's use it as love. Like my sister, why do you hate me so much? Why not love me just as, put that energy that you take into hate the next black woman, change it around and make it into some love. Put that same energy into loving her, because you sitting back and you watching this sister over here. She, she's a CEO, CFO, she's a founder, owner of her own brand. She got her own business. She's doing her own thing. And the first thing you want to say is, I don't like her. She thinks she all that because of this and all that. And you don't even personally know this person. Or you might knew of this person, or you might know this person, but do you know this person now? Don't just make a judgment on the next woman by the things that because you're on the outside looking in. I have had women come up to me and say, I didn't like you when I first met you, but you're a really cool person. Or I didn't like you because so-and-so and so-and-so said this about you. And it made me feel like you were that type of person. But once I got to know you, you are really, really a cool person. And so they changed their demeanor. And I've actually become friends with women who couldn't stand me when I was younger. And we're really now we're we're really good friends. We talk all the time. My sister, and it's such a better relationship. So with all of that being said, my question to you, Willette, is, in the midst of all of this, I know that you have experienced this, because there's not one black woman walking this earth that said that she have not experienced this type of reaction from another black woman. So what have been your moment, negative and positive, with having to deal with another sister?
Because I've had a lot of experience with that, and like you said, rejection from family members, rejection from best friends, and the cold part about it is that even in your wedding party, the people in your wedding party ain't happy that you're getting married.
Yes.
And it goes back, and if people don't understand this, it goes back to slavery, when we were competitive against each other. So
Right.
you have that crab in the bucket mentality.
Yes.
So when you're trying to when you can visualize a crab trying to get out the bucket, and the other people, and you trying to, because you're an entrepreneur, you're a host, you're a full figure model, you're trying to get out that bucket. You see yourself getting out that bucket, right? But then the crabs are not doing anything, because maybe they have some wounds that they haven't dealt with, and they're down here. So they're going to try to keep you and pull you back down. What happens is with our sisters is, a lot of times when they don't like you, because if you walk in your boldness, because one, you probably dealt with your wounds and you didn't just keep putting a Band-Aid over them.
Exactly.
Two, when you're hanging around with guys and your guys love you because you walk in so much authenticness.
Right.
And so they don't understand that. They're thinking like, oh, she want my man, she want this and that. No, boo. Why I want your leftovers?
And honestly, I might know a little bit more about yours than you do.
Yeah, that part. So it's like, I don't have to come behind you, but because of our mental stuff that's going on, because of we don't love ourselves, because we don't know who we are. If we knew who we are, we would be able to encourage the other sister.
Right.
It's time for us to encourage each other and lift each other up, because, and you said, have I experienced that? Yeah, because the people judge me for a certain way that I look or something, because I laugh all the time, I smile all the time. I could have been just lost every dang thing I had, but I still had the joy of the Lord. Because I can walk in a room And I don't care if you think what I have on, how you feel about me is none of my business. But that's a
Right.
different woman from a woman that was broken that used to look at the ground. So if I fought for me to get to where I'm at, I'm going to walk in that power.
Right.
Am I going
That's
to
true.
mess with you? Am I going to try to cut you down? No. Why you cutting you down is not going to make me better.
It's not. You never
Cutting
look
down,
good trying to make somebody else look bad.
yeah, but it's time for us to stand up as women, as black women. I don't care if you're dark skinned, I don't care if you're vanilla, I don't care if you're caramel, I don't care what color you are. It's like if I see you going through something, and even if you post something on Facebook, you probably see I'll send you a message on the back thing and say,
Yes.
like, what's going on? You going through something, let me encourage you and edify you. I'm not even gonna do it in front of nobody. Ain't nobody
Yep.
even gonna know that I did it because
Right.
I want to see you win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to do with each other. I want when people read my book, you said, why do I write the book? When you read the book, I don't want to read the book because it's just Willette Hurst. I
Yes.
want you to read the book because you got whatever you went when you picked up that book, whatever you wanted to get out that book, that's what I want you to get. Because I want you to win. It ain't
Okay.
about me, it's about you getting to your destination. It's about you crossing that finish line. Even if you fail while we trying to get across that finish line, I'm gonna go back and make that U-turn to go pick a sister up.
Yes. That. I love that. And you know when you was talking about the the part when you saying that we walk in our boldness, and that was the thing that I walked in my boldness. And people used to always say, you say things that most people wouldn't say. You say things like without thinking about it first, and it's not that I didn't think about it first. It's just I rather my thing have always been I rather for you to love me, to hate me for the truth than to
Mm-hmm.
love me for some lies, because I'm
Right,
not going to lie to you. And that's why it's
right,
like a lot of people, I might not agree with certain things you do, I might not agree with your lifestyle, and I'm never going to speak on it. But if you come and you ask me, I gotta be who I am, and I'm gonna
right,
have to speak the truth about it. And and I try not to, certain conversations and certain subjects I try not to touch, because I feel like uh, if I've never been in it, I can't give you anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I can only say, well, I can pray with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If it was me, I might, but you never know until you in that situation, and that's why.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like even when around this time last year, to be exact, maybe yeah, to be exact, I think it was like on the 26th, 27th of November of last year when I had the experience of going out one night and not paying attention to my surrounding, on my cell phone driving, not paying attention that I was being followed. And so, in that, when I had got on a live and very emotionally broken down,
I
gave my
remember that.
story of the experience that I had just had about the black suburban following in behind me, kept following me, kept trying to make me pull over. Then another one came off a side street, and they both was on me. And I don't know if it was the sex trafficking or the human trafficking or whatever, or they were trying to kidnap me or just trying to rob me. I just know as a woman being by herself, that was the most horrific experience I've ever had. But there was women that was getting on the post or inboxing other people saying, I think she lying. I think she lied about that. Do you think she telling the truth, or do she want it for attention? I can tell you now, as Shy Bella Rose, and before I became Shy Bella Rose, I've never been thirsty for attention because I've never not got attention. And I tell people all the time, when I walk out my front door, from the time I walk back in my front door, I get attention. So I'm never thirsty for attention. But as a black woman, my sisters, why would you do that to me? And then I would see them like when other women would get on and tell about things that they going through. And then you get on their posts with the negative connotations and all that stuff. Like, no, we need to uplift each other. He says that we're here to be helpers one to another. ain't nothing, and nobody can relate to a woman but another woman.
Right.
And that's why I was
Absolutely.
like, because I remember I had an argument with a man that he was trying to tell me about the monthly process that we go through as a woman. Dude, you cannot do that.
Woo!
No, you can't tell me what I'm supposed to be experiencing or what I should do, because you're not a woman and you don't know what we go through every month when we go through that. And so, yeah, but I really do like when you said that, because I had humbled myself down so much because I had got into a church that made me feel like being bold like that wasn't the thing to do.
And you found out you was wrong, huh?
Yes, and then so I humbled. I'm not gonna even say so. I humbled myself. Well, I'm not even gonna say it was humble. So I changed who I was. Uh, I've always been a type of person that's been happy-go-lucky. I love to smile. I love to laugh and have fun. I'm telling you, my husband and I would be talking about, you so goofy, you so goofy. I'm beginning to believe you're a little touch for real, but he's such a serious man. I keep him laughing. And he said,
Right.
he's like, this is something I got to get used to it because I'm so serious all the time. But I can just blurt out something and he'll just laugh. And that's just me. I make people feel good. My energy, when I come into a room, my energy fills that room,
That part.
and people always tell me, they're talking about, oh, I just like being around you. You're so fun. It's just something about you. Even when I get on public transportation, the train or the bus, and strangers would just come up and just start talking, and start telling me their business or just laughing. And so,
girl, you sound like my twin. You sound like my twin. I used to say, do it say talk to me on my forehead? Because I was like, people tell you your life story. You go to the restaurants, they tell you everything, and people that you with, they like, do you know them? No.
Yes,
But you
I
know
get that all the
that
time.
but that's because and then listening to that, because that I'm telling you, we twins. But listening to that, the cold part, you know what the best part of this is? Because of the stuff that you've been through, you could have been the meanest person ever in the world, but you the
I
brightest light
should have
in the
been. I
but you
should have
the
been.
brightest light in the
Yes,
room.
yes. Because I should be like,
Yeah,
even like people who have wronged me, even exes who have like
girl,
broke
I'm
my
telling
heart and stuff.
girl, you
And
preaching to
people
the
say, why
choir.
do you still, yeah, talk about why do you even still talk to them? Why do you even
Yep.
still be friends with them? I was like, I don't know, ask God, because sometimes I'll be asking myself that. Why do I still talk to him? But I know that he told me, I know that he told me that I chose you to be different.
Yeah.
I know that he told me that. I know that he told me you've been picked out to be picked on.
You were
I
chosen.
mean, through all of that, yes, chosen.
Yeah.
And so once I started learning these things about when I took my spiritual walk, when I got out of there, when I got out of being a religious fool
Girl,
and
we
took
about
a
to have some
spiritual
church up
walk.
in here. We
Yeah,
about
and
to have
took
some
a
church up
spiritual
in here.
walk. Yeah, and I learned a lot of things and and sometimes we get caught up in some of the teaching that was traditionally taught, and those things, like there's generation of things, just it falls down like it begets, is the word that's used
Right.
in the Bible text, that ignorance begets ignorance. And so when you're taught something that they were taught and they were taught and they were taught, and then you
The
want to believe
generational
that.
curse.
Yes, and then you be stuck in a miserable life. And I told a girl the other day when she told me, she said, I'm so happy for you that you finally found your God, sent a man that prayed with you and all that stuff. She said, I'm still waiting on God to send me mine. I said, girl, I can't really agree with you on that one. I said, because I can, when some of us, you have to self-evaluate yourself first. You got to really make sure that you in that place. Because there was a lot of things about me that I had to change, that I kept thinking it just ain't no good men out here. The men ain't, but it wasn't that. It was me. It was my mentality. It was my stinky thinking. You know what I'm saying? It was still things I was holding on in the past, still communicating with my exes every day. It was a lot of things about me I had to get rid of in order for God to open up that door for me. And to go back when you was talking about that road travel, I like when you said that, and when you was talking about making that U-turn in life, because I was engaged to a person, but I didn't marry him. because one morning I got up early because I get up and I go on 5:30, 6:30 o'clock in the morning rides. And I was just talking, and on that ride, I was like, okay, uh, God had changed the course. And the radio wouldn't work. I had left my phone at home, so I couldn't listen to music. And I felt like, okay, he want me to talk to him. But in that talking, he let me know, I was just asking for direction, and he let me know. He was like, it got quiet, and then all of a sudden, just within myself, I started, these thoughts started coming to my head about, just like you driving this car, it's the same way you gotta drive your life. This car will go by itself, but it can't reach a destination without being guided. So even a perfect aligned car will rear off the path from time to time because there's so many curves. Right. So many curves and turns and the potholes and all this stuff in the road. But as long as what you have to know is that when you rear off that path, you have the power to put yourself back on the right path. And he gave me that. And I'm telling you, it was just on from there. I'm like, okay. And I was just so excited. I'm like, God, this you talking to me. But yeah, it was. He did
that to me. He did that to me one time. I was going to a ministry before. And it was like, he was like, and you know how you have the GPS and you're trying to find where you're going, whatever. He was like, you'll listen to the little woman in the box about your life, but you don't listen to me where I'm directing.
Right.
That it's the same thing.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
It is. So we're gonna break right here and we'll be right back. Y'all tune in.
Ladies, are you tired of cramps, yeast infections, hot flashes, or painful sex? V-steaming can help. Detox your vagina, sis, with phenomenal Ladies V-steam. Vaginal detox has many great benefits, increases fertility, enhances your sex life, reduces stress, and restores your pH balance. Call Phenomenal Ladies V-steam at 832-553-2100. Renew and revitalize your vaginal area and awaken your inner goddess. Book your appointment today at 832-553-2100 and tell them Stunner Radio sent you.
Yes, and we're back, and we thank you for tuning in on tonight. For everybody who's watching in on tonight, we thank you. If you're just now tuning in, this is my sister. Why Do You Hate Me So Much? I am the host, Charbella. I have my guest tonight, Willette Hurst, who is an author of 3 books and an international motivational speaker and life coach with me on tonight. And we are having a really good time. We getting deep. Like I said, we were picking the meat off the bone. We really was. But question that I wanted to ask you, another question I wanted to ask you is that what would be the thing that if another sister come to you and she wants you to help her, she want, help her, like, how do I, and we talked a little bit on it, but how do I become a motivational speaker? How do I become a life coach? Or how do I become an author? What direction would you send her?
I would say, look at all the stuff that you ever been through life and seek God to ask him, why did he create you? Ask God, what did he impregnate you with? All the stuff, look at the stuff that he's brought you through and see how you can impact people. Are you afraid to talk? Are you afraid to talk to people? Does your words carry weight? You have to evaluate yourself, not to just be doing something because you don't want to do it in your, like you said before with a relationship. You had to change some stuff first. You can't do other stuff to try to motivate and empower other people when you're still broken yourself.
That's true.
So you have to evaluate yourself, because what happens is wounded people hurt people and broke people break people.
Yes.
And it'll be like 2 people cutting each other with glass. True.
And that's something that we need to understand, that 2 broken people cannot, they can't be together. Because 2 broken people, you have to have someone who have had healed in their life and to know how to deal with a person that's broken. Because when you're broken and they're broken, it's a constant clash. It's going to be a constant clash because you're so guarded when you're a broken person. You're so
They are.
guarded, or either you're so sensitive when you're a broken person.
Woo! Girl,
And
you gonna
so,
preach?
yeah. And so, yeah, so a broken person can't be with a broken person. So that's why I'm telling, but me as I want to encourage my sisters, and that's what the show is for. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that don't just sit back and look at what I'm doing or what Willette doing or what this woman this CEO over here doing, this CFO over here doing, this woman who making six figures a year. Don't just sit and look and pass judgment, because you never know that person's story or what that
Woo!
person had to come through. And that's, I tell the people the story of the rose being one of the hardest, the one of the flowers that has the hardest growth cycle, because it has to come up through the thorns and the
Through the
thistles.
door. Uh-huh.
And so, and then like even with me saying the rose that grew through the concrete, and that's something that I took from being country raised, because that was one method that they would use to kill rose bushes, because they are the hardest to get rid
Mm-hmm.
of, the hardest to kill. They'll keep coming up and keep, no matter how many times you cut it down, it's gonna keep
That part.
growing and keep growing. So they pour
Yes.
concrete over it to
Yes.
keep it from growing. But somehow, some way, that
Somehow.
one rose find its
Woo!
way through that crack, and it grows through that crack. And so as sisters, I feel like we unite, we can do way more. It's a scripture that's on me. I can't really get it, but it says if one can put, is it that if one can put 1,000, if one can
Mm-hmm.
put 10,000 on a flight, we can imagine what two or three can do, or something like that. I haven't read that in a while, so I got the numbers mixed up. But y'all know what I'm saying. People who done
Yeah.
read the Bible, they know what I'm saying. But yeah, with that, yeah, I just want to be encouraging. Like, I get women in my inbox 24/7 asking me how to do this and how to do that, and I'd be more than open to try to give them that direction, because I want the next woman to do that for me, because I'm not where I want to be yet.
Okay.
So
Well,
I
none of
look
us
up
are.
to, yeah, and so I look at other women who are way more successful than I am, and I'm reaching out to these women. But you have to change your circles. That was
Oh.
something else I had to learn. You have to change the circle. You have to change the people that you're around. And only and please know, your family will be the hardest people to gain as a supporter or a fan.
Woo!
So you have
That
to learn to get away from that too.
you
And
got to get out
yeah,
your
so
comfort zone. You got to get out your
exactly that.
comfort zone. A lot of
Yeah,
people want to stay in their comfort zone. They want to stay in their neighborhoods. Nothing grow in your comfort zone. Something that's
right.
not growing is dying.
Right,
You want to
exactly.
get you want to, and then what you're I just want to piggyback on the stuff that you said was when another woman come to you, they can't be you.
They
There's only
can't.
one you. They can't be me. They have to be
Yeah.
them.
Them.
They
That's what I'm
have to be
saying.
them. You just like we talking about roads. The only way that person's gonna get where God wants them to get if they stay on that road. If they keep their eye
Mm-hmm.
ahead of where they're
Yep.
supposed to be going, they can't look to the woman to the left. They can't look
Mm-hmm.
to the woman to the right. You can't compare yourself. God
You
only makes
can.
originals and he don't make junk.
Exactly. You
So
got to
he
find
made
that
that
thing
person the
about
way
you.
they are supposed to be. And
Right.
when we compare ourselves, we look on them fantasy stuff on Facebook, you do all that stuff, then you take away from the person that you truly are. Just like when you
Right.
said you were at another church and they try to get you to water down who you are and
Mm-hmm.
your boldness is people have confidence. You're God confident. You're not confident within yourself, you're confident in what he put in you. The stuff that
Right.
he put in you, you're confident because you did the work. You didn't punk out on the mission. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to take that credit. He brought you through too much for you to play small. You got to
Right.
play ginormous because the stuff that the word of God says, much is given, much is required,
So
much
much
is
is
given. I'm
yeah, much
messing it
is
up and I don't know
required.
why, but you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? You have
exactly.
been through too much. He had delivered you too much. He brought you through too much for you to play
Mm-hmm.
small. So when people try to water you down, that's because they're threatened by your boldness. They're threatened
Yes.
by your authentic self because
That
most people are
part.
afraid of their own shadow.
That's true. That is so true. That is so true. Well, I have really, really enjoyed you on tonight. Our time is up. It went by so fast. I kept looking at the clock. I was like, oh my goodness, the time is going by so fast because we could go on and on and on, especially us two. I tell like I'm so grateful and thankful to have a man in my life finally that I can get down and dirty in the spiritual with, that he
Woo!
listens to me when I talk about my spiritual experiences with God and my journey with God, and he listens. And I mean, and it's like it's good when you can get with somebody like you on tonight, and then the ladies that have been on past shows when they can relate to you in the spirit. And so, I mean, that just makes it awesome. But go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, all your social media handle, and where they can find your books and stuff again. And again, she is a three, I want to say 3-time author, but I guess of 3 books. Do It Now, Tomorrow It's Not Promised, How to Stay on the Journey Regardless of the Rage, and Don't Kill Your Vision for Another Man's Baby. Go ahead with that.
So after this phone call, we're going to do stuff different. So each woman that hears our voice, the next time she has a chance to help another sister out, help that sister out. Because when you help somebody else, you get outside yourself. You can find me on Facebook. It's Willette, Willette, M. Hurst. You can also find me. My website is still under construction. It's driven, the number 2, empower, the letter U.org. And reach out to me. And the books also, all 3 of them are on Amazon.com. And it was my honor to be on your show today. I was so excited about this because I knew God was going to do some stuff.
I feel a conference coming on. My sister.
I'm down. I know. Look, you ain't said nothing but a word.
I do. I know.
Look.
Well, why don't you go ahead and briefly give them some, you've already been doing it all night, but I'd like to close out with just giving a brief, inspirational, motivational word for the next sister.
So what I want to tell you is, whatever woman that you see in that mirror, when you look at yourself in that mirror, I want you to embrace every part of yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want you to forgive everybody that has ever hurt you. And I know it's hard to say that. And I want you to forgive yourself for the part that you played in it, so you can get out of that prison that you in and walk in and be that woman that God has called you to be. 2020 was perfect vision. It showed us what we are, who we have in our life, and then now it's time to tweak whoever you want to be.
Right, there you go. And you heard that straight from Willette Hurst, and you heard it here first. Well, guys, it's our time is up for tonight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in on tonight. Again, my name is Shabella Rose. You can find me on Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube under Shabella Rose, Shabella_Rose. You can find me on Facebook, Shabella Rose, the plus size model. You can also find me and follow me on Straight from the Hip. My sister runs live on that page, as well as Stunner Radio, which is you're tuned into tonight. And I thank you all. And I just like to say what I always say: if you just trust and believe in God and have faith, you can be anybody, you can go anywhere, and you can do anything, because only through and with God all things is possible. You just have to believe. And y'all have a good night.